All right, friends, how you guys doing? I hope that you had a wonderful 2024. Welcome to 2025. And whoa, just had to adjust my microphone. So I hope you had a wonderful end of the year and a beautiful new year in 2025. And I wanted to make a video where I can show you one of the best, most inexpensive guitar or bass rigs that you can have for 2025. And I'm doing this video with the intent that, save you some money this year and show you a few options that I used last year that have made a big impact in my tone and the way I play live and then the way I do my recordings for worship, or I do the second takes for a live recordings. We do overdubs, some of the guitar rigs, or sometimes they send me the DIs, and I gotta reamp it. So for 2025, I'm gonna show you one of the rigs that is helping us change and take our production to the next level. All right, and it's very easy. And the main way to use this, there's a few ways to use this. Put it basically, the way I want to put it, and I'm doing it live because it's easier to kind of get into trouble as well as solve problems when I'm creating something like this. All right, so the basic part of this is that if you already have a pedal board, all you need is good amplification. And sometimes if you have a quiet stage, or you don't have a room to reamp to mic your amp, or if you already have an amp and you don't want to be carrying around, you can use something like the Tonix. Create a profile of it. Well, the Tonix is pretty expensive, and the other pedals that I really like that I recommend you are the ACS1 from Walrus Audio, which sounds amazing, but still it sounds a little bit not like my amp or the ones that I like or the ones that our worship team uses. And another way to do this is with very expensive pedal simulators like the Ruby, the Dream 65. So those are expensive models. And I just found out about 2 weeks ago that one of the most influential guitar players in worship, The Edge, has been doing his gigs with the Ruby and the Dream amplifier. Is it the Dream? Well, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But he's and I think the Woody, which is the deluxe, because he uses, I believe the base of his tones is 4 amps. 1960s AC30 with silverbacks, AC30 with bluebacks, which is a little bit newer in the 90s. Then he also has two of his favorite amps, which he has a signature model, which is the Tweet Deluxe with bluebacks, with a 12-inch blueback. All right, so he has switched to use modelers, and I was like, all right, that's very cool. But for 2025, or for most people, maybe you can only afford one of them. Maybe you want something a little bit different. Okay, so hear me out of how I'm gonna create this pedal rig that it could be one of the ultimate pedal rigs for all of us. And at least if you're new and you don't know how to use amps and how to use pedals, this could be also a good option to teach your volunteers and have something that is very, very, very consistent. Whoa, I'm getting a lot of pops in this. How can I fix this? Is it this? Yeah, I think I should stop touching the microphone. I didn't want to have the microphone in front of my face, so I got this microphone that sounds really good, but I just realized that it makes a lot of noise if I touch it too much. Anyways, so my GNL Dahini in Indonesia, which is one of my favorite guitars of all time. Then also very affordable. And I'll show you real quick what my tone sounds like, okay? And I'll show you right now in the description what amps I'm using, okay? All right, so what I'm using for what I've been using, let me rephrase that, is I was able to get my hands into 1960s AZ30, and I took a capture of, or a profile of the preamp and the cab as well. But I was able to take a snapshot of just the pre without the cabinet, and also of a reissue of a 50s TUI Deluxe, not the Edge model, but I was also able to get the cab, the preamp with the cab, but I also just got the preamp. And then I was able to capture Blueback from AC30 from like the 90s with the Blueback, also an AC30 with a greenback. But I was also able to get I don't remember the cabinet, but it was a silverback, just like similar to the one that the early 60s AC30. So if I'm correct, what I have here is the full rig of an AC30 silverback, okay, which is, I decided to call them on the Neural Amp Modeler, which is where I've been using all my amps, even hybrid mode with my pedal board, and it's been doing an amazing job. The other thing that I don't think I've said is that I'm using a very, very old computer. What I mean very old is that this computer is a quad-core i7 Gen. Let me show you what kind of. Let's go to performance. Okay, look at this. This CPU, okay, so a 4700 QM CPU. This is a very old computer and it's running perfectly. It's a 4-core, 8-thread CPU with only 8 gigs of memory. And it's been running like a champ at 128 samples. It has around 4.5 milliseconds of latency at 48 hertz 24-bit. This is what I've been using to do my reamping, or I'm using this computer as a effects processor for bass, guitar. I haven't used this one for piano because I have another computer that is just for the piano parts. But I run this computer with an audio interface directly into the computer where we record. So I'm not using my actual computer to do the reamping. I'm using this to run it as a loop, as the actual, what you call it, digital analog processor. And I'll show you real quick how to build this. And for all the pedals and all the effects that I'm using in the signal chain, which is just straight into the 2 amps in stereo, I'm using Helix Native. And here's a quick look of what my pedal board looks like, which is I'm using my compression, okay, which is the Deluxe Comp. Then I have my Teamy. I have a Teamy, which I love, a Minotaur, and the Price Drive. And from there, I'm going into the second bank, or the second signal chain, and I'm using the Deluxe Phaser. I'm using also an Adriatic Delayed and quarter notes. And I'm using the Vintage Delayed and dotted eighth. Also, I have a ambient reverb, which is the dynamic play. And at all times, I have my compression and my reverb plate from the Legacy, and it's just completely stock. And this is my entire pedal board. Now, how am I playing this live as well as the recording? Well, let me show you real quick. What I've been using, even with my iPad, let me move this out of the way, is I'm using this Mellow Audio. Whoa, let me put it this way and flip it. This is what I've been using. This is an audio interface with a MIDI controller already included in one box. This has been life-changing. They're being discontinued by Mellow Audio, but I know that Hartley Benton has the MB500, which is the same version of this. There's only one computer that sometimes it doesn't work, which is the newer i9 computer that I have. I think it's a driver error, and I'm gonna figure that one out. But with this old computer, I'll put this down here. With this old computer, it's been running like a champ. Oh, I'm coming off a cold I had for Christmas, and finally I'm feeling a little bit better. But today, my allergies been acting up, so I don't know if it's the allergy or the actual the flu. Anyways, okay. So this is the pedal board. Everything from here goes into the 2 amps, and let me real quick go 60%, and I'll show you how to build it from scratch. Okay, so let's go 75 left and 75 right. Let's keep going up. 75. Okay, let's put the volume up. All right, this is how those 2 amps sound together, and they sound pretty good. Let's turn out some of these effects that I have on the amp. Just you can hear the dry. Just turn off native. All right, don't you worry, because at the end of the video, I'll show you how to get this profiles completely free. And we're going to build this rig from scratch so you get an idea. And I'll show you exactly how to map Helix Native and Reaper to use the MIDI controller. All right, so let's go from the beginning. Let me save this one, project saved as, and let's put it live rig 1. Okay, so now let's start from scratch, new project. And first thing I'm gonna do is my master. I like it on the right, so I go to master track and dock on the right. Okay, so I can grab this and bring it down a little bit. I'm not gonna change too much the faders, and we're gonna get rid of that in a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I need is Control T, 4 tracks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why 4? The first track is for Helix Native. The other 2 tracks are for my left and right, and my last track you can use it as a end of a chain processing. You can put EQs, compression, anything else you need to send it either to PA or live, or if you want to send the raw sound, and then they can use it. But at least here you have enough to cover all the flavor or all your entire rig, and you can make captures if you can as well, but that'll be for another video later on the year. All right, so first thing, we're gonna do the routing before I get ahead of myself. So you're gonna click on this square right here. It has the sends, receives, and your hardware output, and you're just gonna click in here. And what we're going to do is not send it to master, so we're gonna take that off, but here in the send we're gonna send it to channel 2 or track 2, and we're gonna send it to channel track 3. Very well, so now in 2 and 3 we're also gonna take out master channels, and then here we're gonna also do send it to number 4, track 4, and from here on track 3, whoops, we're gonna do the same. Defeat the master, do not send to master, and send to track 4. Once we have this, we're gonna leave track 4 as is. This one's the only one's gonna send to the master here, and that way we have our routing done. So what's doing is sending 1 to 2 and 3, and then 2 and 3 are feeding in stereo to 4. So now what I do is I can pan either completely 100% left, 100% right, or in this case, my favorite way to do it, 75% or 80%. Let's just do 80 for now. And put 80, 80. Let's go right there, 80. So you can't hear anything right now. So we're gonna arm this track, and now you get, if I mute the, so you hear it in one headphone. If I do the same with the other, see, that is perfect. So that is the basis of my tone. Okay, so now what I can do, now that I have all my routing done, I can either maximize this like this. Okay, for now, and that's my routing. But what I like to do is just, I like to see at least some of my tracks. I'm gonna hold control, okay, and I'm gonna select now my routing, and I'm gonna drag it down. It's gonna drag everything, and it's gonna make it there. Okay, all of this the same. So I don't need a lot of plugins in this signal chain, so we're just gonna leave it there. Okay, so let's start with the amps. I'm gonna go to amp modeler. Okay, that's the first one, and I'm gonna drag it into the second one. Okay, now I'm gonna load my captures. So let's go to my desktop where I have my profiles. Let's go Edgy AC30. Okay, and now let's go to the second one, and let's put the Deluxe, Edgy Deluxe, because it's inspired on the Edge, on his two famous amps. All right, so those two are on. Now let's go and arm the track. Well, one is clipping, so that's a good thing. So now what I can do is go here and decrease the output. We're just kind of matching. Oh, this one's armed. I don't want that one to be armed. I only want this one to be armed. Okay, still the output on the AC30 is a bit much. As you can see in my master channel and also my channel here, you can see which one has a little bit more of output. So I can drop it just a little bit, or whatever sounds best for you. This guitar has a lot of output, so I don't run it a full 100%. Now it has a lot of breakup. It's not super clean, but I gave you enough breakup so you can download, so you can lower your input and find it where you need to, as well as if you increase the input in the Neural Amp Modeler, it saturates a little bit more, not too much, but it's very satisfying the way it gives you the saturation. So let's take out both of them. The noise gate, I don't like it. Okay, so now we have where our two amps. See, it cleans up very good. More volume. So round 7, let's go to 8. It's actually pretty good. A little bit more. Let's give it like almost 100%. That's actually pretty cool. A lot of breakup. I like that. That is a little bit of my personal taste, because I like to lower the volume of my guitar. Especially this one has really nice high output P90s pickups. The GNL Doheny is one of my favorite ones. And also the way I have it that way is because my other guitar, my D'Angelico Bedford, doesn't have a lot of output, and when I plug it in here, I always needed a little bit more oomph. So that's why I use this guitar to kind of find the tone, because I know it has a lot of output, and then I switch between guitars. It's not as high output as a humbucker because it's very bright. It's not very dark, but it gets the job done. So if this is clipping, any other guitar is not going to clip. That's what I found out. Anyways, that might be a fluke on this guitar, but I really like it. All right, so now let's load in Helix Native. Okay, so let's go to line 6, Helix Native. Let's load it. Let's see, there it is. Okay, so I'll show you a quick trick on Helix Native, how to use the entire power of your computer. So we're going to go to here, this button right here, the settings. You're going to open it up and you're going to go into hardware compatibility. Usually it's going to give you this Helix Floor or LT Rack. You're going to click on it and you're going to turn it off. This way, just click OK. Make sure you save everything you had saved if you've been working in here. But what it's doing now is that it's going to use the entire power of your computer. It's going to use 100% of the computer, and it's not going to limit the processing to compensate for a Helix Floor, HX Stomp, HX Excel, which you could do that. You can create your presets for your volunteers this way. That's one of the reasons I love using Helix Native. So now I can go into my live pedal board, load it, which I'm also going to leave on the link in the description so you can use it as well. And now what I can do, none of this is mapped to anything yet, and now I can map all my changes to be used with my MIDI controller through Reaper. So what I'm going to do now is I need my compression on, I need my distortion. I'm going to go here with this automation and controller assign. So click here, and number 1, I'm going to click to be changed by switch 1. If you have expression pedals, you can do it here as well. If I had a volume pedal, let's say this is a volume pedal, I go here and I can use different kind of where do I change that? Well, you can go here in the mid learn and it will give you a different way to change it, but for now I'm going to go to switch number 2. Let's go to switch number 3 and so on. Let's go to switch number 4. Okay, let's go to switch number 5. Let's go to switch number 6, and my last one, my switch number 7. Now you can get different MIDI control. You can have 2 MIDI controllers and try to do as many as you can. How many can you do here? You can do up to 16 MIDI switchers. You can have 2 MIDI controllers into the computer, each one of them taking care of a different area of switching. I also have a Behringer FCB 1010, which that one has 10 buttons, but it's a bit bigger and I can't take it. I can put it in my backpack. I have to carry it in case. So now I switch to the smaller one. I think 8, it's a good place to start. Also, you can do snapshots. You can have 8 snapshots. How many can I do here? See, there you go. You can do 8 snapshots. You could do a hybrid where you can have 4 snapshots and 4 let's say 4 different pedals that you can, stop boxes you can turn on, turn off. I haven't tested that yet, but I know you can do it, and it'll be the same way that I'm doing it right now. All right, so there it is, switch 7, delayed. Okay, let's turn this one off. All right, so now let's go into Reaper. Well, first of all, I need to save this. Save it to library, and live pedal board, correct, and off, and save. Let's get my guitar. You can let me know which is your favorite amp in the description. I would love to know. See if I can get a capture of that, and I would make it available for everyone. All right, so now that I have my pedal board mapped, it's very important that you understand it. As long as you have this channel selected, which is one of the drawbacks, as long as you have this channel selected, you can do the MIDI changes. If by any point you click a different channel and your MIDI controller is not doing the changes, is because you don't have the track where Helix Native is selected. You can just select all of them and that should be sufficient. But for the most part, is if it doesn't work after you do all this, is because you're not selecting the track where Helix Native is. All right, so how are we going to do this? Control M to minimize our mixer. Okay, and let's move up. All right, so how we're going to load all this? First of all, we're going to go now to trim. Right click. Okay, and you see knob. Okay, so let's go here, and we're gonna put it into touch record fader, movements, and arm envelopes. That one needs to be selected in order for everything else to work. So now let's go into here, and we need to put it's on touch. Great. Let's go into actions now. Actions and show action list. Okay, so first of all, we're going to do the tap tempo. Just go to tap tempo. Okay, you're going to select tap tempo. You're going to put add. And we left one of the buttons on the MIDI controller not to be assigned. Oh, okay, I forgot to assign the MIDI controller. I'm sorry about that. Go to preferences. Okay, and then MIDI inputs. Okay, not present. Okay, so let's go to where was I? Audio device, not present. Let's put okay, and let's put our audio. Let's click here. There you go. General audio device, MIDI inputs. Where's our MIDI? It should be device. Okay, perfect. Input devices. Okay, so here, computer device, enable input from this device. Oh, it's because I have the older version of my Reaper, so I can go now to retry. For some reason it's not reading. Okay, so we are my daughter loves to come in when I'm doing live streamings. Okay, let's go in here, MIDI in. Now this got me a little bit confused because I had it set up before. Figure audio enable from this input device. Let's see. Not found. Okay, not present either. I must have done something wrong here. Okay, so TS the following could not be open. It's not letting me open. That's actually must have done something wrong with this. Okay, so let's see if I can map up any other way. Let's go to options or actions. Let me see if I can create just a track. I'm gonna put a track, see if I can get any information just to give me any MIDI in, MIDI out. No, for some reason it's not letting me get any MIDI in or out. Studio MIDI in. And if I go to check now on device, SEO configuration, format, 2 channels, TS Mega. Okay, everything is working. Okay, it's on. TS Mega, okay. Okay, let's do something real quick. Let's just take it out and put it back in, see if that helps. I knew something like this was gonna happen today. I don't know why I didn't dare to double check as soon as I... Well, for now, let's just save this project as... let's put live rig number 2. And that's great. When you decide to live stream for New Year's, you get problems like this, which is great. So let's go to options, preferences. Still not found. So let's reopen this recent project. Okay, let's put retry. MIDI devices. For control, let's see. Input. Okay, let's see if we can get anything. Retry. Close. All right. For some reason, I must have done something wrong where I cannot put this. But if I have a different MIDI controller like this one, I have the other choice, which is this one is the Mellow Audio MIDI controller with not zero, but with no control, no audio interface. That's what I meant to say. So let's see if I have that one now, if it would let me create something with that interface, but I don't have a way to connect it. But basically what I would do is I create here in the track envelope. So I go to nub1 and I would enable it. Now let me just change the theme real quick, see if that's why I'm not seeing some of the parameters I'm trying to... No. It is right. So let's go to Trim Read. Yeah, I must have done something very wrong when I was trying to do the switch. But here they are. Nub1, Nub2, and here's what I would map them. You know, I will put here, I'll put active, and that's where you see it. I'll go to Nub2, I'll put active as well. Put Nub3, put active. Nub4, and I'll put active. Nub5, let's put active. Nub6, let's do active. Nub7, let's put active. And Nub8 is not active because that's going to be my tap tempo. And it's going to look like this. So every time you trying to do a change with this, what it's going to do is going to open it and close it here. So let's see if it will immediately learn my button 1. So it's actually something. Oh, it is working. So there's my MIDI 1. So if I click on it, let me make sure I'm selected on my... Oh, it's acting as 1A. I gotta switch my nub 1. Okay. Enable when track item is selected. Okay. Now let's put touch, because I think that's what I was missing. There it is. That's all I was missing. It was already reading the MIDI controller. What a fiasco here. I'm sorry, all of you, but it's working. I like to do this live because if I encounter problems, sometimes if I edit them, I'm like, man, I should have left that on. But if I do it live, like right now, I got into this problem, you can see that with different computers it changes. But look, it's working. My pedal 1, which is my Timmy. See, there it is. It's not much difference, but it's actually working. Okay, so let's do again now. Let's do here this button, MIDI learn. Let's do button 2, and then it's okay. It's on. So there it is. Okay, let's do number 3. Okay, it's working. Number 4, we're gonna skip because this is gonna be my tap tempo. Let's go to number 5 and learn. Let's put okay. Let's go to number 5. Let's go. Okay, let's go number 6. And let's do the last one, number 7. Okay, so they are all there. On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. So when it turns red is that's activated. And our last one. Okay, so now that that's visible, Control M to go to native now. Make sure I don't. Okay, switch 1. Let's see. Now it doesn't want to change on native. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Okay, so touch. And here. Oh, nuv. Oh, okay. I see what I did wrong. So now if I go here, I put nuv instead of switch. So let's change that here to okay, all of these remove. Okay, so it's supposed to be switch. So switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4, 5, switch 6, switch 7, and 8. It's out. Okay, so for options, let's go Control M. Let's redo this again. Switch 1, and then okay. Turn it on. Okay, there it is. I can hear it now working. That's what I was doing wrong. I'm sorry. So from knob, it has to be switch. If it's a knob, it's more like if we're gonna use a volume pedal, or you can use some expression pedal to change it, not a MIDI toggle switch. Let's go to switch number 2. Okay, let's go. Turn it on, turn it off. There it is. I can hear it already. Number 3. Okay, so now we're gonna skip number 4. We're gonna go on the second roll to the left. I'm on the MIDI controller. There it is. Let's go on to the 4th, 5th actually, 6th and 7th. 6. And now let's go to the 7th. Right there. Oh, press a button on the MIDI controller. Okay. So if you turn all of them on and off, just so they turn red, you will have to do that just before you live rig. Just test them. put okay. Okay, there they are. So I know that all of them are working. And for the tap tempo, which is my fourth switch from the bottom, this is how I'm gonna apply that. So show action list, we're gonna type in tap tempo, right? We're gonna go to this button that says add, and it's gonna ask me, what do you want to MIDI learn? We're gonna press our fourth button and gonna put okay. Okay, so once we have it there, there's the one last thing to do. Control M. I'm gonna select all tracks. We're gonna right click to all our tracks, and we're gonna change the time base to time instead of project time base. It's just so it doesn't skip when you put the tap tempo. Let's say by mistake you put play and you put the time skip, it's just gonna do something weird. Just trust me, just leave it there. You can have all of them selected and still gonna do your switching, but if it's not, just make sure you have your first channel selected, and that way it knows that you control M to take out the mixer, because it needs to know what's enabled. So if I go to my NAT modeler and I'm trying to turn on, turn off my MIDI controller, you can see nothing's happening. But as soon as I switch to that channel and I select it, it's back to changing. Okay, so that's my Timmy now. Minotaur. Price Drive. Okay, let's go to modulation. Okay, let's go to delays. And let's test the tap tempo. You're gonna see it down here. This is our tap tempo. And if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, see, it's changing. Okay, that's my quarter notes. Let's go to dotted eighth. So there it is, your rig. You could put any effect that you want on the Helix. I think it has one of the best, at least one of the best emulations of effects, which I have the HX effects that I use in combination sometimes with just the computer. But now that I have this MIDI controller, it's a lot lighter and I don't have to carry an extra power supply for the HX effects. So this has been a great solution, and when we've been tracking, if I need a different amp, control M, and it's like, okay, what other model I need to use? So I was like, you know what, let me try, let's say matchless, let's put here, with different amp. Let's just try the matchless today, right? So I would mute my other amp, right, put it right in the middle, and just try it out with that. Which this is a capture of a DC-30. And let's say I'll do the Minotaur. And let's add a little bit of delay. 1, 2. And if I need more, just do the price drive. And let's say that's not cutting it, you know, that app's not cutting it. I can just grab another capture that I have, which is also, let's go with Dr. Z. I don't remember what amp was this, or what preamp. I think it was a Route 66. Yeah, I think that was a Route 66. And this one's captured, I believe, with a we got a Creamback, a Neo Creamback cabinet. So this is just baked together. This is what it sounds like. Clean, a little bit more meaty. Alright, so that actually sounds pretty good. But then again, you can go back and just switch your amp. Just go back to your AC30. Right there is pretty good. On mute, go back to 80%. And you can keep recording. Instead of changing so many drives, you get the drives that you like. And most of my tone, or let's say 75% of the tone, is the amp capture that I'm using, because it's the way it reacts with the pedals and the delays and the saturation going into the amp is what makes the difference. Okay, so it's clipping. This guitar clips. Let's add now my big reverb. What I can do now that I hear it is that my quarter note delay, it's a bit much. So let's do our mix a little lower. Oh, baby. Love you too, honey. You playing? Oh, okay. You're watching videos? Okay. Right. Good job, honey.
Teaching me how to make food.
Oh, you learning how to make food? Good job. I want to go watch right now. Love you, honey. My daughter, she hears me talking in here and she wants to see what I'm doing. All right, let's turn on that delay. A little bit less mix, a little bit more feedback. Lower this BPM now. Great. I think I have both of the delays on right now. Yep. Let's just take out the... Add again a little bit of the mix. Okay, that's plenty. Oh, that sounded really good. Let's add the Teamy, just a little bit of drive. That is actually pretty good. That's is a little bit more responsive than all I've been using. I don't hear any latency. Uh, Look at my latency is 4.5 milliseconds. Let's try to monitor how much it's using. Let's go to view, monitor media. Where's the monitor? Monitor performance meter. So what am I using right now? So it's using 16% of the CPU average, 15% with all of this on. Let's turn every single, let me turn down my volume. Let's turn on everything, right? Let's see what's the most it can use. See, I'm maxing at still 15% of the CPU. I have everything on. It will sound horrible, probably. I'm still using no more than 20% of my computer, and I think that was the problem that I was having before, that I still had Helix Native in a different mode, and with the preamp and the modeling on it, it's just not cutting it. I would get pops and crackles, and now that I have the Neuron profile, which is very light, it's just a game changer. It just makes everything sound a little more realistic. At least when I'm playing, it feels a little bit closer to what I remember when we're capturing the amps. Now here's the kicker: the AC30 and the Deluxe and all the there's more amps. They're all free, and I'll show you right now where you can go get it yourself. So the MIDI controller I'm using is a different version, but it's basically this one, the Harley Benton MP500. This is one of them. They have the other one, which I was showing you, which is just the MIDI controller, no audio interface. But what am I gonna carry? Why should I carry an audio interface and the MIDI controller? The computer I'm using is a very old computer. It's called the 360 ThinkPad. I think that's what they're called. It's one of these old ThinkPad 16s. It's one of these. I think no, this is a lot newer. I think I paid like $250. Had a pen, but I lost it. So it's one of these. You can flip it and do the changes. It's very small. It's a 13-inch. This laptop is great. Okay, so Neuron Modeler is the VST I'm using. It's completely free. It's amazing. And the tones, you can find them here. It's called Tone Hunt. I'm going to put it in the description below right now when I finish the video. And in my profile, Music Gear for Worship, you can just click on it. And I have a bunch of free captures that I've used, and they are all with the intent to use as pedal platforms, but with their distinct breakup and the way they feel. They're all different. If you want a different capture, maybe I can get one. But I got inspired on the Edge to get at least something closer to his tone, which the base of his tone is a 1960s AC30 with silverbacks and the Tweed Deluxe with the blueback. So I got a 1960s reissue that I got the preamp originally had a greenback, but what I did is just I found another cabinet, another AC30. I think it was an AC15 that had a blueback, and I got the capture of the IR, and I baked it, and I got this sound. So I did the same with the Tweed Deluxe reissue, but I didn't. I think it had a Jansen cabinet originally. So what I did is I baked it with the same cabinet, and the tone was completely different than an AC30. I thought it was gonna just not sound the same, and they sound completely different. You can test it yourself, and you can see the difference, the huge difference that makes the cabinet into those 2 amps. At least going in front of those 2 amps, as well as you can get a Dumble Light. It's I put it light because lit is because is I forget the name of the amp that we use. It's based on a Dumble, but then I got a chance to play with a cabinet that had a Neo greenback, which is a little bit more modern greenback, and I really like how it sounds with the Dumble, so I got a capture of both. And also I tasted with the Route 66, or I don't remember if it was a Route 66 Dr. C head, but we also baked it with the creamback, which is a Neo creamback or creamback. And the 1960s, that is that reissue Vox with the greenback. So you can download all these and just play it away. They're not gonna have a lot of gain or a lot of like saturation from the actual amp. They're mostly taken in to be used as a platform for worship, but they have a little bit of breakup, but they all sound different. The ones I try to match the most, it was the Edgy Duo. So download it, let me know what you think. It would be great if you can subscribe to the channel. Pretty soon we're gonna have a page for Patreons where you can download all this this amps with the cabinet separate, so you can combine all of them. Also, what I didn't specify in this is that I don't have the amp and just the cab by themselves baked. I'm using a power amp simulator to power the cabinet to get a little bit more dynamic like an actual amp would. So that's why they also have this dynamics. So it's different way to create profiles, which also once I create the Patreon page, you will have access to this power caps. I'm gonna call them power caps because they're tube power with a 12AX tube preamp, and it gives them just complete different sound than just IR going into these amps. It just makes a huge difference, the dynamics. So what you hear in here is all of it baked together. The microphone, I'm only using a SM57. They all have a SM57, I believe, and I think only one of them has a different microphone. I think the 1960 has 2 microphones, which I didn't love. But also you're gonna have access to those cabinets with that other condenser microphone, which is going to be Rode NT1A, which sounds not as good, but it gives you a really good rich balanced tone, like a Neumann 87. All right, friends, so that's it for this live stream. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because that helps us a lot. Let me know in your comments. No one comment anything. All right, that's fine. We also would like you to post questions. What will be your favorite amp to try to capture? I have a few amps there I'm gonna have access to. Princeton with a different cab that I'm trying to borrow, which has a Goldback, which a friend of mine, I took a long time a capture of that, just the IR, and it sounded great, but it didn't sound amazing by itself on the IR. And now with this new way to create profiles, I think I'm gonna be able to get a more realistic IR profile in a way to match with your amps. All right, so if you don't have access to Helix Native, and you just want to run your pedal board directly into just a VST without having to do all this with Reaper, I recommend you another program that is just standalone, and is also a non-profile player, but you can put dual IRs, and it's called the NAMM Universal. It's by a company called Wavemind, and this amp or this NAMM player, it's amazing because it's got a lot going on. And one of my favorite things with it is that you can run two IRs into one amp. You can also load a pedal. Like if you have a boost pedal, a capture, which in the future I'm gonna take of a BB preamp just to go into the amp and then go into your IRs left and right, and you're good to go. We tried it out with one of the players at church, and he just like, wow, it sounds so good, because we actually create the profile of his amp, his preamp, no cab, and we took two IRs. We made two IRs of his actual 1960s. He's AC30, 60s reissue or something like that, with greenbacks, and we used the SM57 and the NT1A, the Rode, and it just sounded like really good. Like he couldn't. It's not that he couldn't tell the difference. Like we could hear it, but he couldn't really tell the difference between the actual amps recorded to the captures running through a DI signal of a guitar. So that was pretty good, and those are going to be available in the future, so you can play it with this standalone VST program. And this one's amazing. It's really good. I would recommend it to you. All right, friends. Well, God bless you. Thank you for staying in this video. Hopefully I can make better live videos for you, which that's going to be for this 2025, and also make available all this amps for you, so you can lead worship, so you can teach your volunteers how to stack pedals. Helix Navigator is one of my favorite VSTs or software, but too bad they don't have a standalone version. But you can use it with Reaper, and now with NAMM Modeler in being free. I mean, there's nothing you can't not create with these tools. You don't have to spend a dime. You can get a MIDI controller and an audio interface, cheap computer, and you still be cheaper than buying a guitar or a computer. Let me put this down. It'd be good that guitar players, bass players, everyone who plays worship have access to computer and audio interface to record your parts or play along. I do it all the time. And now, since let's say 2012, 2015, it was very limited, with amplitude, you had latency, all this. Today, it's very minimum. And with computers as old as this, it's amazing we can get these tones. All right, friends, God bless you, and I will see you in another video. Don't forget to hit the bell so YouTube lets you know every time we make new videos. Especially stay safe. This 2025 is going to be amazing. Stay faithful at church, doing what you're doing. Just do your best, and let me know if you have questions. God bless you all, and I'll see you in another live stream. Take care.